I never sleep again. Find a way to hear you understand. Expectations lead to unbelief. And as we go down in my faith, I know that it's just because I'm the negative. And you what I do today. Else we slay so good. I just want today. You get something no yesterday. Hey y'all, testing, testing. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Did you smoke today? Have you ever put something on your stomach? Stacking and reading. Y'all can hear me? Oh my God, we're back. Oh, I missed you, babies. Where have y'all been? How have y'all been doing? Hey, Happy New Year. Hey, Happy New Year to my babies. How y'all doing? Hey, did you smoke today? Have you yet put something on your stomach? Stacking and ready because it's so bad. Did you smoke today? Have you yet put something on your stomach? All right, come on in, come on in, come one, come all. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button on your way in. Was it normal to lose friendships in 2025? Well, you know, transiting Pluto is in Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of friendships. Pluto in Aquarius. Now, granted, because it's an outer transit, you would also might need to look at what, like, how this transit is impacting your natal chart personally. So, you know, what house this is in, other transits going on, as somebody else mentioned in the comments. But, you know, yeah, it could deal with friends, you know, or the theme, you know, of friends dying, friendships falling apart, you know, all that stuff. That's very Pluto and Aquarius. hmm Having to be selective of your acquaintances and the friendships and the people that you do have, the associations that you do have. Uh-huh. Yeah. Very likely. So, as y'all can see by the title, tonight I wanted to talk about pretty much everything Capricorn. You know, we're in Capricorn season. And with that in mind, happy solar return to all of my Capricorns out there, my Capricorn sons. And this is for, you know, those watching the playback and those who find their way into the chat. But yeah, I just thought this would be a really good opportunity to talk about just a lot of the different ways in which this Capricorn energy can express itself. Because I actually got a chance. Well, I saw bits and pieces of the interview that Natalie Nunn did with what's his name? Cam Newton. And it was very interesting. Very, very, very interesting to say the least. Um, I'm of a particular age, and I'm going to date myself, but I'm of a particular age where I remember Natalie Nunn hated Black people, Black women, Black people, Black culture. Natalie Nunn used to be a white woman in terms of like ideology and just how she showed up, like socially. I'm aware that she's biracial, so she has a white mother, Black father. And, this might not be the most acceptable thing to say, but I see a pattern. There's almost always a pattern whenever we talk about biracial children with a white mother. The anti-blackness, it just jumps through the placenta into the fetus. Not all. You got your J. Cole's of the world. J. Cole's mama's white, but most of the time, like, my God. So I wanted to take a look at Natalie's birth chart. I said all that to say, because that interview, in the interview, it highlighted a lot of like Capricorn. She was very Capricorn throughout that whole interview. But I lost my train of thought. I was saying I'm of the particular age where, I remember Natalie Nunn being a very white presenting woman in terms of just the way she socialized herself on the Bad Girls Club, right? This is before baddies. Now, my millennials, that was our version of baddies, Natalie Nunn, she's like 41 now. So, she's been around in terms of reality television, quote unquote, for a while. And she presented herself, I guess, like as the villain on the Bad Girls Club. And, everything that came out of her mouth, especially towards like the Black girls on the cast, was like, oh my God, she's a ghetto Black bitch. She had the Valley Girl, Cali, California shit going on in terms of like her accent, she's she's a ghetto Black bitch. And she has a big nose and a big this, and the whole time she over there looking like Grims and Chin about as big and wide as all outside, talking about some nigga lips and nigga nose. And so I did it's a series, it's an ongoing series on my TikTok, right, y'all? And it was pretty much it's talking about Smex's work in astrology. And like I said in the video, there are multiple placements, in terms of placements that could represent or indicate the possibility of Smex's work within somebody's birth chart or, in astrology, right? But I would say of all the different variable or variations, Capricorn and Saturn would have to be the most common in terms of Smex's work. Specifically when we talk about like being a madam or like pimping, like the concept of pimping, the art of pimping is very Capricorn coded. And so when you put that energy in women, because I see y'all talking about Natalie Nunn, capitalizing off of Black women, like, that can actually 100% make her a madam. So it was just so interesting because a lot of people are like, oh, it's supposedly a whole bunch of mess going on over at Zeus, y'all, down to the Zeus. I heard, allegedly, because you got Lemmy, I think his name is, and he got a whole family history, you know what I'm saying, that we're going to talk about that. That's a Patreon conversation to have. But his roots, he comes from dark roots, is the point I'm making. And a lot of his business ethics and things like that have come into question just based on the business model of Zeus. You know what I'm saying? Where you got a lot of these shows, a lot of these programs where the main storyline is women fighting, humiliating each other, embarrassing each other, which is also very Capricorn coded, like humiliating yourself, especially humiliating yourself for fame. So, and if you ask me, Natalie Nunn has humiliated herself. Now, she's reached to a level in the game where she has that tenure, that seniority kind of thing, because she's been around in this reality television arena, and she's been doing it a while. And I know Capricorns love that. Capricorn is all about status, and it's all about making sure that you're at the top, or at the very least that you got somebody beneath you. So that's why you do have those type of Capricorns who will take the opportunity once they've gotten their foot in the door in the industry, or once they become like or receive some sort of seniority, I guess. They will absolutely punch down, and humiliate and embarrass others in the same way that they were humiliated or embarrassed. And that may not always include Smex's work, but it absolutely could. So all of the allegations about Natalie Nunn being a pimp, I mean, that's very on brand, or her being a madam, I should say. It's very on brand with her being a Capricorn. You still have to consider that polarity that Capricorn has to Cancer. Cancer represents women. So in personal matters, and Capricorn is able to kind of remove the personable nature that most cancers would have. They're able to remove that, in the sense where they're able to commodify a lot of those cancer-like qualities. They can commodify women. They can commodify being personal with somebody. Like I said, with Capricorn, baby, you just need to leave the money on the dresser and make sure it's enough. That's it. Or if they feel like they're too high and mighty to do certain things themselves, they will absolutely, Capricorns can be managers, or it's one of the signs, astrologically speaking, that can deal with management, and that's because of that control nature. Scorpio is another management sign, but that's a different live stream. But yeah, so the concept of managing a bunch of girls or managing a bunch of women, selling cat, who's selling that cat, and you just, you're the boss. You're the, that's very Capricorn. I'm the boss. I'm in charge. And in several points throughout that interview, Natalie did not hesitate to drop her nuts. Like, oh, why would people want a baddie? Because I'm the boss. I make the money. I do this. I'm in her mind, I'm the HBIC. That's very Capricorn. Until they get around somebody who's even higher on the totem pole than they are. Then they bitch out. Which is also very, very, very fitting, because once again, I heard, based on this is alleged, this is what I heard. I don't know, but I heard that Lemmy, because supposedly a lot of the girls are doing a lot of sucking and fucking when it comes to Lemmy, and whatever the case may be. Apparently, they said that, like, Lemmy would kind of take stuff out on Natalie, especially when he had like a favorite, or a woman he was crushing on or something. Who was it? Somebody spilled that tea. Stunner, I think Stunner did. She was like, basically, Lemuel was telling Natalie, you need to shut the fuck up. You're gonna go over there. You're gonna go over here and record my show the way I say. Just talking to her crazy. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is oogling, ogling over the way she talking to Cam on his. And I mean, I don't really like Cam Newton either, but with Capricorns, it's also about saving face. So I don't, being on public or on TV, international television. Did I say international television? I meant national television, y'all. Being on national television, maybe international too. Shit, I don't know. and allowing somebody to like chin check you or little girl you or try to embarrass you, a Capricorn not going for that. So of course she gonna drop her nuts and let him know that she's the biggest and the baddest, and hey, I pay the bills. I pay the bills. Now mind you, and I'm not one of those people who feel like a woman can't dive into her masculine energy. I'm a fire sign, for crying out loud. I'm not gonna complain about that. But what I will say, Capricorn women can also be very, very masculine, or it may not always be in their physical presentation, but when Natalie said that, like, priding yourself on being a boss, priding yourself on paying for things, making the money, being the breadwinner, those are qualities. I'm not saying that women can't do it. I'm just saying that from a societal standpoint, these are qualities that more people align with more masculine ways of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, her husband, who's a Cancer, so that's not lost upon me. Cancers are the homemakers, so they're a lot more family coded. Like how she said, they're literally polar opposites. So it actually makes sense. I don't think Natalie is a very loving, nurturing mother. She doesn't give that. A lot of Capricorn women are, they too busy at work. They too busy trying to, chase their dreams, chase their ambitions. They ain't got time to be bothered, laid up, titty feeding the baby and being at home with the kid 24/7. A lot of times they will take on the role of the man. I'm the breadwinner, I'm the boss. I go out, I do this. And then she come home to Jacob, the Cancer, who is nurturing the child and providing well-cooked meals. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's just funny because it's spot on. It's spot on. Hey Raina, thank you for the super chat. Can you explain Sun in Pisces in the 5th house squaring Saturn and Gemini in the 9th house? Well, a lot of times, I mean, it's because you have to think about the different ways that the sun can play out, or different things that could be represented by the sun. But I guess we'll go with um from a creativity standpoint, this could be somebody who has, like, if you're a writer, like somebody who could have writer's block, or who can have issues with tapping into their creativity. And a lot of times it can come from questioning yourself, doubting yourself. Saturn and Gemini, especially in the 9th house, can definitely produce like self-limiting beliefs, thoughts and things like that can kind of or prevent you from reaching your potential when it comes to, like I said, expressing yourself. Um, that's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. But you would need to like be very mindful of protecting yourself from being exposed to people like that. Whether it could be the men in your life, siblings, people who could be that Debbie Downer voice, that negative voice. I notice a lot of times the things that were said to them, especially as children, people with that aspect, like, that could definitely be something that kind of like haunts you, or, words going through your head, words that you can't get rid of, you know what I'm saying? Which could in turn hurt your confidence. The sun is like your confidence, how you, like your light, allowing other people's words to dim your light. It's a bunch of different ways you could look at that could produce like mental health issues, or um problems with the shoulders. If we're talking about physically, or lungs, be careful if you smoke. Did you smoke today? Have you yet put something on your stomach? You a Capricorn? Welcome. Are Capricorn Venus women similar to Capricorn Sun women? In some respects, um, you know, you have to look at the difference between the Sun and Venus in terms of planets and planetary expression. So Venus women might be, especially depending on whatever else they got going on. Um, I would say Capricorn Venus women might be a little bit it you might not notice it a lot of their ways, a lot of their Capricorn ways. Like an example that I would use would be like perfect example, Meg the Stallion. I just remember this off the top of my head because I remember doing umpteen natal chart readings on her. If y'all been on my channel for a minute, like I used to be on Meg's ass. But she has Venus in Capricorn. Erica Badu has Venus in Capricorn. And I feel like because of their other placements for Meg, it's that Aquarius sun and you know, I just think people or even her South Node in that 12th house, I just feel like people make her a victim, like a professional victim. And obviously I'm not saying that she can't be a victim because she was shot in the foot. But I'm saying outside of that, a lot of the character flaws that she has that other people have been drugged for, people kind of bypass it when it comes to her. But Meg has a lot of ways like the social climbing thing, whatever. And people have their own opinions about all that. But point is, she definitely reads somebody and we'll get into the traits, more of a comprehensive list of Capricorn traits in a second. But she has a lot of Capricorn ways that I'm like, even her relationship, like people are trying to like force her relationship with that basketball player on the world. And it's like, Venus Capricorn individuals could absolutely be in relationships just for either like a look, especially if it's gonna be a good look for you on some opportunistic type shit, or like, you know, be in relationships where it's literally all business. Like this is for show. It's not, or your relationships can be used to kind of help you maintain face or maintain your reputation. Like, I don't know. Whatevs. Whatevs, dude. Makes sense. Aquarius women and Capricorn women. Yeah, they can be very similar. I very much agree with that. They surely can. But something else that's very fitting with Capricorn would be goals, New Year's resolutions. You know how during the New Year, everybody, wants to get serious about what it is they want to do. Everybody's vocalizing their goals, their resolutions, what they want to change, what they're hoping to do in the future. Also very Capricorn coded. So what are some of y'all's resolutions? Oh yeah, Keisha K.R. and Gucci. She bossing his whole life. That is I forgot she's a Capricorn. Oh wow. So okay, yeah. She's actually a really good example of that too. And y'all know, once again, for those of y'all who was actually on the internet in like 2015, 2014, no, I would even say earlier than that, maybe like 2012, because this is before Gucci went to prison, or was it during? Point is, at some point, right, Keisha Kaur went from being a video vixen, and apparently they say, she was dating Yo Gotti and some old shit, which is also very Capricorn. A Capricorn woman, if she's focused on her upward trajectory, and if her career is involved, and her likeness is involved, she will attach herself to the highest bidder. She will be a gold digger. She's gonna get in where she fits in. She's gonna fuck with one nigga and then, you know, hop hop to another one who can benefit her in some way as well. However, however, she had like a bunch of businesses, like, and she does this thing which is very Capricorn coded, where it's like, because you know Capricorn, they literally are the sign that rules business and career and all that. So it's like they have this kind of, what do you call it? It's like that mentality where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go get my what you call it, like, where they think the way out of poverty, or they think everybody's way to success is all about, like, or just create you a business. Go create a business. Like, she's always creating a business. She had, like, she was selling those colored lipsticks. Then she was selling tummy tea. Then she was selling, then she got on her fitness kit and lost all that damn weight. And it then started to what you call it, sell what do you call those things, like the training wraps, waist wraps. I mean, you know, and it's like, that's cool, but after a while it starts to look corny, because Capricorns can lack that personal touch that you would get from Cancer. Now, she's a Cancer moon, but I don't think she lets the world see that. That's probably something that she shows to those close to her, that more personalized part of her personality and who she is. You know what I'm saying? That softer side of who she is. Otherwise, it just looks like they trying to they always trying to sell you some shit. They always trying to find their next hustle. And somebody else who got this bad would be Beyonce. Now, Beyonce is a Capricorn South Node, excuse me. She's a Capricorn. So she has Capricorn on the South Node. And that's why every time she talks to the Beehive, she asking them to buy something. Capricorn rules capitalism. That's right. I think a lot of people understand. According to Beyonce's new chart, she's a Leo North Node. I don't believe it. And like I said, you don't think that lady is esoterically inclined? You don't think she's into astrology? You don't think she's into? There's a saying that billionaires. Let me go find the quote so that I can get it correct. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let me find the quote that I'm looking for to help drive my it's a phrase that says millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. And that comes from JP Morgan. That name should sound familiar. Ain't that a bank? They named the bank after him. Yeah, so Beyonce's a billionaire. You don't think she knows astrology? And I say that to say, if you are a public figure and you know your personal information is out on the World Wide Web, why wouldn't you make up other shit to put out there? People do it all the time. Celebrities have industry ages, especially women have industry ages all the time. It's hella celebrities. I think K Michelle is one of them where I haven't done an official natal chart reading for them because it's so many fucking times. Like, it's so many different conflicting pieces of information regarding their birth out there. Yeah, thank you, Earth Angel Bree. Yeah, we it's cool. Y'all, we know, I know King AZO 6241 went in saying I'm lying. She just saying, or they just saying they don't believe that shit. And I don't believe that shit either. Like, I'm not buying her new birth time or whatever. Um, so yeah. Did you smoke today? Have you yet put something on your stomach? I notice a lot of Venus and Capricorn women can lead towards men that can provide for them. Yes. One facet of Capricorn, or even Venus and Capricorn, can be being very materialistic or very survival based in your approach to dating. So dating somebody who you know is going to take care of you, especially if you are afraid of not having money, or you know what I'm saying, that kind of stuff. Going into business with your partner, being in a relationship that functions more as a business as opposed to, like, you know, an actual real relationship. Or that. Blueface got Venus and Capricorn. Perfect example. And when we introduce like that pimping energy that I was just talking about, that's kind of, it puts me in the mind of like what he did with Krishan. And granted, I don't like Krishan for just an array of reasons, but multiple things can be true at once, and I live and die by this saying. So yes, Krishan is insufferable in her own way. However, Blueface is very intentional about what he does and the type of harm that he inflicts. Because, you know, Venus and Capricorn can also even just be very cruel and sadistic. You know, a person who will do stuff to punish their partner when they're upset, or somebody who, like I said, has that pit mentality. So if he's dealing with a woman, yeah, you better be making some money too. Bring what you got for me. But also very controlling. Or just have that mindset that if he's going to be in a relationship with you, he wants both of y'all to make money. He wants us. No, we both need to, you know, like a Venus Capricorn man may not be that much more. He may not be the most willing to have a wife or a woman that is put up while he out there, you know, making the money. And if he does, it's gonna come with major hellish strings attached. So that's actually a really good example. And it also deals with like him being a little dirty or liking women that look a little dirty. But that's besides the point. Especially with his Saturn in Aries. That's like looking dirty as fuck. He looked like he stank. You have that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Venus Capricorns can be mean as hell to people, or like, you know, even because Venus could even deal with interpersonal, you know, relationships that don't just have to be romantic per se, or, you know, where it's almost like a lot of, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad placement, because I guess the positive would be like a Venus Capricorn person would be really good with networking. But the caveat is you need to have as much as these people have or more. Because if you are somebody who has less than them, or they view you as less than them in some way, or you know what I'm saying, doing better than you in some way, they have no use for you. They might ignore you, or if they let you around, and if they're low vibrational, not all Venus, you know, not all of y'all, but the ones who, you know, are unevolved and don't really have control over themselves, those are the ones who would like treat you like shit. Or they'll get to know you and do little things to test you, to see how far they can push you, how far they can, you know what I'm saying, how to gauge whether like how they want to treat you, you know what I'm saying. And if you ain't really no use to them, now I mean, I'm a Capricorn North Node here. So it's like on a certain level, I understand a lot of the energy because it's like, you know, do I really want to be around people I can't benefit from? Now, granted, I want to be of benefit to you as well. You know, I'm not no leech. But yeah, I because I there's a level of ambition and success that I want for myself, and that I would actually require other people to have in order to be around me. Now you ain't gotta, it ain't gotta look like how I want it to look. Everybody is here for their own reasons, but that's how I rationalize the energy. And like I said, I know everybody with this placement or everybody who's a Capricorn don't have to be the worst of the worst. They don't have to exude the worst of the worst of the. My mother's a Capricorn, and although she does have some Capricorn ways, I will say I don't think she's a bad person at all, or like you know whatever. But like I said, that just depending on the person, depending on the vibes and what they got going on, you know. Tell me he don't look like he's staying. He do look like he's staying. I'm like, every time this nigga come on my screen, I smell him. Him and Krishan. And Pisces can absolutely have issues with their hygiene. That's because Pisces opposes Virgo, which is the sign of hygiene. A lot of Pisces can be really neglectful when it comes to their personal hygiene. Or like just grooming or how they keep themselves up, or they can not all, not obviously not all, because it never fails. You get that mean I'm a Pisces and I'm super clean. I clean. I take 40-minute showers 3 times a day. I wash my booty hole with pine salt and bleach. Blueface likes control. He absolutely does. If you're a woman he can't control, he probably won't deal with you. And it makes sense too, considering he's a Aries South Node. So I don't know if his Venus is squaring his South Node, or I think it might be squaring that Saturn now in Aries. But point is, that's where it gets very that's where it gets really tricky, because a lot of times it's like he uses that control in order to carry out selfish motives and stuff that he really wants to do. And if you not nobody who gonna get down, Aries energy can't really tolerate people who not on the same page with them anyway or doing what they want. So if you not really down with his campaign, and he kind of talks like that a lot, like, nah, baby, I'm Blueface, baby. You get with me or get lost. And then, either I need me a golden retriever. That's why he said he needs a woman who's going to allow him to control and walk all over him, which is actually, it makes sense why Jaden is a Libra. Libras can be very much doormats. Now I do feel like they have a karmic relationships, because this would be a Sun North Node relationship that I talk about. And like I said, a lot of times that Sun North Node relationship can produce children. They have children together. Or like where you're dealing with somebody for a long time, they are high school sweethearts. And like I could see, because Libra deals with marriage, I could see them being married at some point. But yeah, and I honestly think, yeah, she's a pushover. She's and I don't care what people, because I know the public narrative about Jaden is like, oh, when he got locked up, she moved on with her life. She glowed up. She's with her children. And like I'm not saying she's not a good mom or none of that, whatever the case may be. And people are comparing her to Krishan, but a ham sandwich would be doing better in life, in comparison to Krishan Rock, considering all the shit she got going on with her. So I feel like it kind of goes under the rug that Jaden quietly and privately, she might not be doing videos with him anymore or publicly appearing, you know, with him anymore, but quietly, I still think she placates him. So I mean, maybe they are not together anymore, but I do still think very much she placates him quietly. That's that Libra shit. You gonna let a nigga walk all over you because you trying to be either you just too attached to the relationship itself, or you always trying to keep the peace. So you'll do stuff in order to keep the peace, even if you get ran over. And technically, she's supposed to his relationship with her is supposed to help him learn how to be a better partner, but I don't think he's learning that lesson, or at least not right now in his life. And I don't see that for the foreseeable future. Yes, we can talk about how Capricorns could also be sellouts. So actually, what I'm gonna do, let me we can get on that, and then I'll run through the other traits of Capricorn, especially the ones that I really like. But in terms of selling out, Capricorn could definitely be some of the biggest sellouts of the zodiac due to, once again, that Saturn influence. And because the theme is always going to, for them, is always going to be centered around whatever it takes to get ahead, whatever it takes to get to where they want to get in life and do what they want to do, they would be willing to, sell their souls or do, pretty much have zero. There's almost nothing that these people wouldn't do to get to where they want to be. So, I mean, selling out would quite naturally fall in line with that. And with Cancer dealing with, like heritage, your nationality, your race, you know what I'm saying, your tribe, your in group. Capricorn, on the other hand, because it's the opposite of Cancer, can be disconnected from that. So you do have a lot of people with like that self-hating tendency with Capricorn energy. They can be some coons now, kissing up the massa, tap dancing, which brings me to Miss Nikki. And it hurts me to say this. It don't really hurt my heart because I've never been a stan per se. Like I said, I might have been stan adjacent when it comes to Nikki and her music. However, I had to take a sharp turn left the minute I saw Miss Mamas go off the cliff. And anybody who's been on my channel for a minute, y'all know I love politics. I will get in, aside from astrology, politics is one of my, like, I don't know, like one of my little topics of random interest, right? And so I know a lot of, not a lot, I don't know everything there is to know, but I know enough to know that when this lady started praising Donald Trump for trying to manufacture consent to bomb Nigeria, that's when I said, oh, okay. So she done lost her fucking mind. Like that's when it hit me. Now, and I know a lot of people was like, well, why would that be your stopping point? She married da da da, and her brother was da da da. With the brother thing, you could say, okay, that was her. But we know her brother is a PDF and a predator and all of the things. But she's not. And to be real, because I'm more of a music head, my value is always going to be like, emphasizing the type of artist someone is. So when it comes to, like, quote unquote, your personal life, especially things that don't have anything to do with what Nikki did directly, I'm like, okay, I don't agree, or this disappoints me. She paid for his attorney fees or something like that. The brother, I'm like, okay, that disappoints me. That's not how I would have handled that. But okay, it wasn't. Same thing with the husband. It's like, okay, Kenneth Petty did some wild, not even wild shit. He's problematic in and of himself. I actually hate that she married him. There's nothing redeeming about that. But once again, I'm like, okay, maybe she'll snap out of that eventually. But I don't know. That's when I realized, oh, she's dumb. And if she's not dumb, it's that Capricorn energy where you're so removed from your fan base and the people around you that you would be willing to kind of attach yourself to whatever it is that you need to attach yourself to, as long as it gets you, once again, either ahead or benefiting you, even if it means contributing to all that is wrong with the world. Even if it means, and the whole like protecting Christianity, she's a Sag, and one thing I hate about Sag is I'm not a religious Sag because I got other shit going on in my chart, but a lot of Sages can pull that fake religious bullshit. Y'all know Donald Trump is also a Sag moon, so I see where you could look at this as her mimic, or her kind of being drawn towards that part of his campaign, right? But all you need to do is just take a look at history and look at the different instances in which America has invaded foreign nations under the guise of altruism. And then look at the results. Shit, look at Iraq. They had weapons of mass destruction. You know what they also had? Oil. You know what else? Nigeria also has oil. And in any other instance, people would be willing to understand that our government is corrupt, that Donald Trump, this nigga has been operating like a supervillain, you know what I'm saying, since day one of that second term. I mean, he was in the first term too, but this nigga kicked it up a notch. Project 2025. His admin has been running circles around the government and the US Constitution. And if we can agree to these things, why are you accepting his framing on Nigeria as being a matter of trying to defend Christians? Are you serious? Interesting. But she would, you know what I'm saying? All her fan base is lip gloss wearing queer men. Not all, but a lot. And that's how it's weird, it's strange. But Nicki Minaj also has Capricorn on the South Node, and she has her Mars in Capricorn. So a lot of her actions, a lot of the stuff that she's will, a lot of the way in which she moves through the world is going to be on instinct, is going to be on survival. And I have a thing about dealing with people who are just naturally that survival coded, who were born on survival and whatever. Those are the most dangerous people. Lil Wayne's also a Capricorn South Node. Y'all know he a coon too. Talking about how he okay with the police. And Capricorn does deal with the authorities. It's the sign that deals with the police. So Capricorns naturally, I notice, do tend to favor authority. I know my mother's like that because my grandfather was a correctional officer for some time. And my mama has always had that thing where she just, she will talk up the police, or like if you in trouble with the laws, some shit pop out. Me and my daddy always say, "Oh, we not getting her involved. She's gonna tell." You feel me? Like I ain't gonna put my dad's business out there, but it's been some nights where that shit was put to the test, and that lady will fold the minute 12 get involved. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I said that to say I can definitely see Lil Wayne, kissing ass. Like a police officer saved me because I shot myself as a kid, and so I'm not gonna say, we need police reform, or I don't want. It's like he's on the wrong side of every social issue. Is he on that coon shit? And he's a known colorist. So Nicki Minaj has that same lunar nodal hookup. I believe she has those same beliefs. Also, she's not Black American. I feel like a lot of immigrants, and let's clock it. Let's clock it. A lot of immigrants, a lot of Black immigrants, they do this like immigrant to alt right pipeline that I didn't even realize existed. But it's because a lot of Black immigrants are not knowledgeable on the systemic issues and the systemic challenges that um Black Americans had to overcome in this country and are still dealing with and adjusting to in this country or fighting against or whatever. So it's nothing to attach yourself to Turning Point USA, whatever the fuck it is. It's nothing to attach yourself to Charlie Kirk's widow if it means you get to benefit from something. Like you even embarrassing yourself. Like that's very, and I think it's in her 12th house too. She's embarrassed. She's humiliated herself because she thinks it's gonna benefit her. She's acting out that South Node, that Capricorn South Node too. Being mean, feeling like people are beneath you, feeling like people need to kiss your ass. And like I said, I gave her the benefit of the doubt when we were talking about music because at the end of the day, whether she's a bitch or not, and I never denied that she was not that great or that she might not have been that great of a person. But my argument always was that nobody tries to make male rappers best friends. You know what I'm saying? If people in the industry say a certain male rapper is a dick, then he's a dick. And people move on. They don't try to make him friends with everybody. And that's just my only thing with her. But girl, she hopped into that politics bag, and I said, yes, no thanks. Yeah, she's far gone. She's not snapping out of nothing. I think it was more vindictive than anything, very much Mars and Capricorn. But it's like, whatever. I don't know. It was. I didn't necessarily feel like, oh, she's just so disappointing to me. I'ma still listen to her music the way I listen to anybody else's music because I am one of those people, and I know Gen Z hates when people say this, but I am one of those people who can separate the art from the artist. Y'all can, you can boo me if you want to boo me. I get the critiques. Some people feel like, well, the artist made the art, and the artist was doing this at the time they was making the art, and but art is also subjective. So it's going to mean different things to the person that's interpreting said art. So if my objective experience, which is what, my subjective experience, it's like there's a space where you can remember how music made you feel. It's a space where you can remember what you were doing. I don't know if y'all remember music like that, but music for me is tied to where I was in life, what I was doing, what I got going on when I'm maladaptive daydreaming. That's where my mind goes when I'm experiencing and consuming music. Not what was the artist doing, what was going through the artist's mind when he said that at this moment. Maybe in some instances, but not really. Especially when we talk about like people that we grew up on. So it's like, two things can be true at once. You wouldn't catch me dead at no Chris Brown, R. Kelly concert. Free him. I will never make those type of arguments. Keep that nigga where the fuck he at. But am I going to dance a little jig? Am I going to, when I feel a little melody in my spirit, do I want to hear a little, your body's calling, distant lover, I will be right here. So have no fear. Yes. Will there be cognitive dissonance there? Yes. But I'm not going out my way to support you. I don't feel like you should be a free man. And I said that to say, when it comes to like Nicki Minaj, I still have that standard. I'm not gonna not listen to her, but girl, it's everything outside the music is a chop for me. You can keep it. I'm cool off you. I won't be wearing t-shirts, going to a concert. I'm not. I'm good. Don't worry about it. But I know everybody feels differently and feels very strongly about stuff like that. But I will say, I think for this generation, for the Gen Zers of the world, my Pluto Sagittarius girlies, they tend to make people God. They make celebrities God. When they idolize somebody, it's like a lot of idol worship. You know, Pluto and Sag is the epitome of stand culture, because Sagittarius likes to put things on pedestals, or it likes to idolize or godify, and then Pluto can be the obsession with it. It can make that very obsessive, or I could just see where for these people it's like they want to be able to get behind and support people that they admire and that they really want to be like, and you want to feel good when you're listening to an artist, because that ethically these people are sound, and they're people that you but the reality is, if that was the prerequisite to listen to an artist and enjoy the art, we would have nobody to listen to. What part of Hollywood don't y'all understand? These motherfuckers is crazy. These motherfuckers is nasty. These motherfuckers is not your friend. A lot of them don't even have class solidarity. They're selling you a product. I don't know. That's the way I look at it. What do y'all think? So, Nikki, she lost me in terms of, trying to give her the benefit of the doubt when it comes to other things, most things. But I'm just like, okay, girl, I'm going to shut up, because you're embarrassing yourself. So it's not to justify the actions of, it's just to say, maybe I'm selfish. Maybe I want to dance and listen to my music and maladaptive daydream. And then, say fuck all the other shit about the person and who they are. You know what I'm saying? I fucking hate Brian McKnight. I hate him. I don't even know him. And I hate him. Like everything about him, his image, everything that we've grown to learn about Brian McKnight in like the past couple years, bro. I hate that nigga, bro. However, I'm not gonna, yeah. Would I ever go to a Brian McKnight concert? Fuck no. But do I get on YouTube to pull up the that song that was on the Medea's family reunion? No, it was the Medea's what was it? Uh was I Could Do Better by Myself? Which one? It was the Medea soundtrack that I'm gonna keep myself in you, baby, now. Hey, before they take you back to heaven, gonna find. I like that song. I like the "Would I Ever Cross Your Mind Anytime." Still have your picture in a frame. Mm. Hear your footsteps down the hall. Yes, I like it. My ears can't unlike it. But outside of after I get done singing the song, fuck that nigga immediately afterwards. Cause like you ate that one little thing, girl. You ate them two things. But girl, it's fuck you outside of the music. And I feel like people who, like I said, it's a lot of Pluto Sagittarius people who, because it's so extreme. It's like either we finna, Sagittarius deals with like justice, so it's like they're always so extreme when it comes to like morality, which is also very Sagittarius. They're so extreme when it comes to like morality, and like I'm not saying that it's wrong, but it's like it sets you up for like unrealistic shit, and it sets you up to be disappointed in your favorite celebrity all the time. Y'all don't realize y'all done got gooped because you can't compartmentalize. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are not your friends. You don't know them. Trey Songz has Venus in Capricorn too. And I would equate that to, well, the first thing that came to my mind was the song he had with Drake, which is "I want the money, money in the cars, cars in the clothes, the hoes, I suppose. I just wanna be, I just wanna be." So y'all can tell I'm a millennial. But yeah, that was very like, because Capricorn can be very ambitious, right? And Venus and Capricorn, that could deal with like wanting a trophy wife or a trophy girlfriend, wanting all of the glamorous things that materialism can buy you or get you. Wanted, like I said, he wanted money in the cars in the clothes, and the hoes. That's how I should have known he liked me and then, because he said the hoes, I suppose. See, he was sure about everything else, but he wasn't sure about the hoes. That nigga said, I suppose. He should have said the bros. Money in the cars, cars in the clothes, the bros and the bros. Cause that's what he really want. He really want the bros. He ain't thinking about them hoes. And to each his own. You feel me? I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum, baby. If that, my thing is, stop taking it from people. If they're not willingly, consensually giving you the booty, stop trying to take it. And speaking of taking booties, since we on booties being taken and snatched from their owners, let's talk about Stephon Diggs. Now, I don't think he got any Capricorn placements, but like, I'm probably gonna do an upload on that, because it's the way y'all set up here and let Becca Lee's make a diss record on JT and say, "Oh, that's why your man played with dildos and." But your man literally has a SA charge from another man, as well as a host of other women, as well as abuse charges, like choking folks out. Like, is this? Are we being? Y'all, why do y'all let her get away with it? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Your boyfriend has been alleged to take man butt. And I'm not saying that it's okay to take woman butt. It's all egregious. I'm just saying, you got the nerve to call somebody else's man gay for how he dressed, but your man is allegedly strong arming bussy. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. That's a contradiction out of this world that I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even understand. I'm like, oh, okay, the stand culture is in full effect at this point, because y'all don't even care. Y'all just go off of, and when I say y'all, I know it's not the intelligent people in my live stream watching this video. I mean the other y'alls, the thems. It's like they would sit and allow people to make arguments, and it's basically gonna, your support is gonna go to whoever you just like the most. They don't even have to really be making points. They could be just complete contradiction, projections, and y'all, they gonna eat it up. Crazy to me. Ugh. Benzino, Bobby Valentina. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really. I know I did a Bobby Valentino reading maybe like a long time ago. I don't know. What you mean? Like, are they gay? Or I like a few of Nicki's music, and people swear up and down that Beyonce is so much better when she supported Kamala Harris, but was allegedly paid to speak in support of her at that Houston rally. And she has that Capricorn South Node too. Excellent point. She's absolutely capable of selling out, because Beyonce is another person where it's like it's so obvious that she's still in that Capricorn South Node programming to where I would not put it above her to sell out. She's a billionaire for God's sake. There are no ethical billionaires, y'all. And I think when people start applying that stand culture bullshit, like, well, y'all are just haters. My bitch makes a bag. At least she makes a bag. She's a billionaire. Yeah, that means that almost guarantees that she's a sellout. She's you know how many people you got to sell out and exploit to be a billionaire with a B. Hmm. Most people who are arguing in favor of stuff like that don't know how much $1 billion is. But I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, Beyonce definitely sell out for sure. That bitch sell everything. I just said she only time she talked to her fucking fan base is when she want some money. Like she don't already have it all. Girl, you got all the money. You the top 10%. Maybe not the top 10, but y'all get what I'm saying. Girl, you a billionaire. Why you keep taking everybody else's money? My God. Lauren London reading. She's a Cat Venus, sad sun. I'm curious if her love and light rebrand is genuine. Interesting. I have not, but you know what I'm saying. If she's a Capricorn Venus, let's take a look. Pull her chart up since it's in theme with our everything Capricorn. Let's see. Okay, so she was born December 5th, 1984, Los Angeles. Da, da, da. So she's a Sag Sun, Taurus Moon. Yeah, she has her Venus at the 26th degree of Capricorn. I can see that too, because I feel like, look at the type of men that she's dated, because Venus can deal with our relationships, our partners. Like, she's dated, I'm not gonna say all famous men, but I will say the men that she's dated, they were very high on a totem pole. Now, I mean, Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace to him, wasn't really somebody I listened to because I'm a down south girl. I listen to my down south music, my Atlanta music, like, you know what I'm saying? But to a lot of people, Nipsey was like that nigga. Like, he was very high on as it pertains to status, respect. Capricorn deals with respect. So Venus and Capricorn women want to deal with men who are powerful, or men that other people respect. If people don't respect you, a Venus Capricorn woman probably ain't gonna be with you. Or if she is, she gonna, what I'm saying, bitch you out, really, and she gonna be the one disrespecting you and running all over you. But yeah, and then she got a baby with Lil Wayne, literally Lil Wayne. Like, and once again, me being a millennial, I remember a time where that nigga was the hottest motherfucker on the. It didn't get no better than that. You feel me? Like, that Venus Capricorn energy can even symbolize her being like a trophy, the trophy wife, a trophy girlfriend, right? She's always been that girl. To have Lauren London on your arm, and her Venus is conjoined, or it could be. I don't know if it is exactly, but it's at least in the same sign as Lil Wayne's Capricorn South Node, which could once again reinforce that idea of that relationship being bred out of a place of some sort of, you know, opportunistic mentality. Like, Y'all are lovely. Y'all are lovely. I'm just saying. P. Smith, 3821. She always mentioned being attracted to street guys and power in the past. Yeah. She also give me the type of girl too. When you make her mad, like, yeah, the idea of I'm finna tell my nigga finna come up here and he finna shut shit down. Now she also has that Venus square and Pluto, so that could deal with her being attracted to bad boys, you know, niggas who be in the streets. But then that's also her losing a partner as well. Her having a partner that's killed as well. But that could also deal with infidelity. I wonder how this shows up in her friendships too. I would imagine that she ain't that good of a friend, or she can just be around people like that. But the question was how genuine she was being with her Love Light rebrand. So, Venus, we know that deals with how you make your money. Like I said, Venus and Capricorn can be very business minded, all about trying to commodify some shit. And it's trying in that Taurus North node. So it's like, she's going to use this as a way to like legitimize herself using businesses, relationships as a way to legitimize herself and her image. Um, let's see. But I don't know though. With Venus square and Pluto, yeah. Then she got Sun in opposition to Chiron and Gemini. It gives she might have two different sides of her. That like maybe one side of her that's very serious and very connected to that love and light stuff. And Sagittarius can be very spiritual and religious and all the things too. But she does have a dark side, like an extraordinarily darker side. Yeah, especially with that Scorpio South Node too. And maybe that dark side is expressed through her seeking out partners who, kind of exude that energy. Hence, wanting to be around bad boys and this and that and whatever, whatever. So, maybe that. But I don't know. Then she got Mars in Aquarius, square Saturn and Scorpio. It's just giving. I'm getting sidetracked, but I don't know. She definitely gives, you know, a somebody who's always gonna capitalize or who's always looking to capitalize stuff. I don't know. She also has Venus sextile and Saturn and Scorpio. I feel like it could work. I can actually see her becoming like a more established businesswoman in some respect. I feel like honestly, I feel like it might be good for her if she can, stay on the straight and narrow in terms of, doing things the right way and not be tempted to veer off. Because that's really what it's about with Taurus on the North Node anyway. Learning how to, be a more upright person and live your life in a more upstanding, legitimized kind of way. So she considers Diddy her brother. Interesting. Like I said, she has that Scorpio South Node. So she's not a stranger to abusers. Interesting. That's very interesting. I did not know that. That's kind of sad. AI artists who replacing artists, real artists. Could this be due to Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini? Definitely a Pluto Aquarius thing, because you have to understand that during the Pluto Aquarius transit, a lot of we're going to lose a lot of humanity. You know, the automation of everything is going to further disconnect people. Pluto and Aquarius is all about, like, because on one hand you have innovations, inventions, you know, advancements when it comes to social media, technology, air travel, all of those things. But on the darker side, because Pluto can deal with corruption, it can deal with um, you know, like the extreme ways that things are could show up in that sign. It can bring about extremes, you know, or like low vibrational shit. So yeah, when Pluto is in Aquarius, it's almost like all of this technology and these advancements that they could corrupt. You know, they could, whether you could look at this as like the tech bros being corrupted, and as a result, kind of trying to destroy society in the process, or play God. You know, Aquarius opposes um, Leo, and Leo deals with the, you know, you could look at Leo as being like the creator. It gives life, right? It rules the fifth house. So Aquarius, because it's opposed to that, it's void of that. Aquarius feels like it can manufacture the things that bring forth life. It can manipulate and control and tweak things. That's why you know, science, and the more that we kind of advance into this internet or information age, like, yeah, there are cool innovations and shit that comes from it, but I mean, at a certain point, it's like the end goal is to completely erase life as we know it and the connection that humans have to each other, and that's going to impact your ability to feel, and that's what makes people human, your ability to feel. You know, that Pluto and Aquarius is all about desensitizing people. It's about trying to bring these corporations to a place where they're operating based on what's more convenient for them and their bottom line, even to the detriment of other people. And this is going to be done through technology, AI, automation, blah blah blah. You know, or Aquarius also deals with, you know, revolutions and shit like that. So that's going to be the key theme for, you know, us during this transit. Like, you know, things that are going to push people to rebel against these powers that be. When these technocrats and these fucking tech bros fucking get in bed with our government. They have been in bed with our government for a while, but you get what I'm saying. The Elon Musk of the world, the whatever's, um, you know, this transit is really going to bring to light how corrupt they are and the plans that they have for our society are, and how like demonic and twisted that shit can be, especially when you allow these people, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when these people are, you know, after they reach a certain level when it comes to power, they just start doing shit, undoing humanity and civilization. That's that new world order, Pluto and Aquarius. All of that, it goes hand in hand. Oh, you can't hear? All this scares me. I don't want it to go over my moon. Well, you could have some changes in your living arrangement. That's for damn sure. I mean, but it doesn't have to be terrible. You know, I mean, like I said, the positive. I don't want to fake the front with y'all either, but I would say the more positive side of this Pluto Aquarius transit is that it is going to force people into a place of like wanting to take matters into their own hands when it comes to, quote unquote, fighting the powers that be or resisting what's going on. Like I said, that's that. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius, it was during the Revolution, and when America gained independence from Britain. Just to kind of put that into context. So, I mean, the more positive part of that from a collective level could be like, maybe niggas will actually like grow a spine and start fighting back in ways that need to be fought back against, perhaps. You have Pluto and Aquarius opposing your sun. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say cooked, but there could be some major events going on with your father, your children, if you have them. If I mean, everybody has a father, but you get what I'm saying. Everybody don't have kids, so take that with a grain of salt. But it could also even deal with a lot going on in your love life. So if you're in a relationship, maybe a breakup could be on the horizon, or a separation. What degree social with Capricorn? What you mean by that? Tease about the Capricorn risings. I would say because your rising or your ascendant can deal with how you appear to other people. It might not necessarily be the sum total of your personality, but it is a large part of at least how you show up, or even your outlook on life, the things that you focus on. So, and of course, your physical body. So, Capricorn risings, a lot of times, I always say this is like the quintessential resting bitch face placement, or like people who may not naturally be that warm or inviting, or people may even mistake you as being kind of boring or standoffish, or who the fuck this bitch thinks she is, or who the fuck that nigga think he is, like. And that's usually like a defense mechanism. Some of these people can be loners or feel that way, but oftentimes deep down inside, these are people who, like I said, when people get to know you, you might be a lot more lively. And of course, when you consider your other placements, but they do a really good job at exuding that energy up front, and can attract a lot of people, like, who embody the opposite. So a lot of Capricorn ascendants can attract a lot of Cancers, or people with very prominent Cancer placements, and that would make sense considering Cancer would be in that seventh house. So maybe even a lot of your emotions and that personable part of who you are, you could project that into your relationships, or like when these people actually get in a relationship or they have friendships, those people are like their family to them, or they can find themselves in situations where they're dealing with people who they have a lot of history with. People who, they may be kind of cold to everybody else, but the people in their lives, whether it's friends, romantic partners, they'll keep those same people around for a minute, or they'll cling on to those same people, whether they're there or not. It could even be old relationships that like somebody could kind of be still stuck on or hung up on. Well, Tyler's birth chart, she said, take me to Chanel. That's Venus in Capricorn. You want your partner to be able to do something specifically more materialistic. Like if you're more of the materialistically driven kind of Capricorn placement, which a lot of them are, they can be. It's like, yeah, baby, put me in Chanel. I want designer. I want name brands. Yeah. Why? Because designer and name brands reflect status. Hello. I think yeah, Miami has Venus in Capricorn. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a quick, or is it JT with? I know JT has Venus in Capricorn too. And Miss Thing is just as materialistic as it can get. Say you love me, then to me Chanel. Say you love me, then for me Chanel. I hate that song. Give me the Miami version. Take me to Chanel, nigga. Take me to Chanel. Some people say the degree in the birth chart can play a role with the sign. Yeah, I do subscribe to like numerology, but there's not necessarily like for example, the number 6 could be more relationship oriented. So maybe if somebody has their Venus at the 6th degree of Capricorn, maybe they might not exude more of the hardcore traits of Venus and Capricorn. It'll soften it up a little bit because Venus and Capricorn could also deal with a person being alone for a long time. Maybe somebody with their Venus at the 6th degree of Capricorn might be a little bit more relationship oriented. You know, not very materialistic. Hey, like I said, I'm a Capricorn North Node, so I in a way I definitely I understand to a very large degree, baby. Because if you get with me, I need materials and cereals. Oh, you thought we was doing this just for the love of the game, the love of the sport? Nah, I need something, and I know that's not the most healthy thing to like. Feel like relationships should be transactional, um, but I personally feel like, especially if you're somebody who dates heterosexual men, my hot take is I don't think they're capable of love. So if you're doing it for the love of the game, baby, you're going to be hurt badly and often. But don't get me started on that. Did you smoke today? You can express love without money, but you're also a Cancer. So it's like Cancers are going to be more, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I said, that personable factor. Like, like, oh, I could be so sweet to you and da da da. But that's all. That's also how people can manipulate you too. I'm not saying you, but just everybody just got to do what works for them. You know what I'm saying? You get with somebody who shows you love in the same way that you want to be shown love. But I I just feel like as a woman, if you go out into the world and you're looking for that, like a man to love you unconditionally and fill you up and you're with him because he make you feel tingly inside, and that's cool while it's cool, but that shit will change, bro. You will be disappointed. You're going to have to, I don't know. What else? What do I know? You know. Capricorn can be bitter, so maybe I'm just in my bitter bag, but I don't know, guys. I say the money. I ain't never seen a bitch regret being, or not even money, but just in general. I ain't never seen a woman regret being with a man for what he has, but I have seen plenty of women, and myself at some point included, regret being with a man for who he is because you love him and he love you, and he said he would never do nothing to hurt you. Oh, you said you came. My bad. It's the Zah. Blame it on the Zah. I went on a whole rant too. My bad, friend. But even if you said that you could, like I still would believe it because I know Cancer men are more, they'll be more willing to butter you up, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I was dealing with this one Cancer, and he used to piss me off because he had the nice guy act going on, but I knew it was an act because he's a slut. And I knew he was a slut because I went to high school with him. Not only was he a slut back in the day, you know what I'm saying? I keep my ear to the streets in the ways in which I do. And that nigga is like still in love with his baby mama, be fucking every, you know what I'm saying? Like that's very, the unevolved or darker side of that Cancer energy for men can manifest in being like a womanizer. You know what I'm saying? So he was definitely like the womanizer Capricorn. And, I said Capricorn, the womanizing Cancer, excuse me. And because Cancer also mirrors, it's like they do a really good job at like reflecting or like, mimicking your personality or, like, and for men, it's like they'll mimic a woman's personality in a way, or like they'll know exactly what a woman want to hear. You know what I'm saying? They'll present themselves in that way to, they're kind and soft and sweet and, might have all the pet names for you in the world and just, but a lot of times they do it to manipulate you more often. And he would just, I remember one day I said I was like sick or something. I had like a call. It was something. And he was like, I'll pray that you get better. And something about that pissed me off so bad. Bitch, don't you pray for me. Cause I know you not. You know what I'm saying? Like performative as fuck. Like, oh, like nigga, you don't have to do that to fuck. Just say you wanna fuck. Like it just irritated me because I know damn well, like, you know what I'm saying? We'll go months and months and months at a time without talking. Like, bro, I'm so far down on your prayer list. Even if you had a prayer list, like I would be like number 233 in terms of like the number prayer that you get to. Like, and it's okay because I don't give a fuck about you either, but you're dragging it and it's pissing me off. Like, and like, so he's being all sweet, and I'm disgusted and I'm enraged. Now I'm rude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I look crazy because I'm being rude to a quote unquote nice guy, but you're not really being nice because you trying to, you know what I'm saying? That fake nice guy shit, man. That shit would piss me off so bad because I know it's an act, and it's like in my younger days, I would be more accepting of men who are more disrespectful. Not disrespectful, but yeah, you could even say disrespectful. Like, because my thing was like, at least they up front. If you've been on my channel for a minute, a couple years back, I was dealing with a Taurus sun, Leo moon, but he was also an Aries South Node. And when I tell you the most disrespectful nigga ever, but we had a lot of fun together, and it was toxic in its own right. But I let that shit go on for as long as it did because my mindset was, well, number one, I'm gonna eat your ass up. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that if we gonna open that door, nigga, you finna be all kinds of bitches and hoes and fuck niggas and dick in the booty. Yeah, you finna be all of that fucking with me. So just make sure you're secure. But then number two, I'm like, well, he is who he is up front. Whereas other niggas, like people I just won't name, other experiences I've had, they will disarm you and be so sweet and kind, and so that way when they finally betray you, you feel like you ain't seen it coming. Or it's that much more insidious to me. Like you calculated it and you connived and you planned, you plotted and schemed, and something about that just feels so much more yuckier to me. Like, I'm not saying disrespect is good either. And I've grown to realize that over time. But that was always my rationale because I just can't deal with no fake nice ass nigga. If you finna be a dick with your whole chest. The love bombing. Oh, yes. Cancers are so good at love bombing. I mean, he would, hey, sweetie, hey, baby girl, hey, doodle, doodle, doodle. How are you doing today? Everything, you are beautiful and this and that, and oh, you don't feel good. I'm gonna pray. Please, nigga, don't spare me. Get the fuck off my phone, actually. But that Pisces energy can do that too. That Pisces is going to give you the love bombing experience as well. Pisces can act. They can absolutely act. Acting skills are superb. Uh-huh. If he really shisty like that, because that Pisces energy can get real shisty if that's the type of person you are. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they will have you living in a fairy tale, a la la land, lying, living double lives that's very Pisces coded. And whole time, bitch, you don't even know who the fuck you set up here and shared your coont with. Let that man play all in your butt and you don't even know the real him. Yeah. Interesting. Love bomb. Yeah, a Pisces, because Pisces deals with dreams. So you could look at it like uh, selling you a dream. You said the pipe or the water signs are a bit yuck. To hell, water placement. Not to hell. Child, I was dealing with this Pisces. This motherfucker was a liar, manipulator, and gaslighter trying to play the nice guy. Don't I know it? Don't I know it? Pap and Clarissa are Pisces. It's going to be interesting to see how the cookie crumbles. Yeah. Putting up an air, putting on airs in their relationship. That's why they want us to think that they in love, or at least that Papoose in love. You know that man don't want Clarissa. I think she's the slow Pisces and he's the sneaky Pisces. Pisces can be a little thrown off, like a little weird, a little, cuckoo, like. So I feel like she's that archetype of Pisces and he's the sneakier, conniving one. Their charts are so similar. I'm gonna have to look into that. Okay, so let's get, because this is getting a little lengthy. Let's round out some of these Capricorn qualities or Capricorn characteristics. Like I said, starting with some of the positive ones. Ambitious. Capricorns can be very ambitious, very no nonsense, and I love that about Capricorns. Not really tolerating disrespect, strict. Capricorn deals with all things involving discipline. They run a tight ship. As parents, I can attest to this. My mama has always been strict as fuck. Being that loving granny. And don't get me wrong, she's a loving granny in terms of she loves my daughter, but she's not the stereotypical, like the oh come here baby. How people be like, oh, my mom used to beat my ass, and with my kids she does whatever, she lets my kid do it. Like, no, my mama is still very much children need to be children, and they need to act like this, and they need to do this. And now she believes children are humans, but she believes like that, you that authority thing as a parent, as adults, you still have authority over. And at the end of the day, hey, don't let that shit go too far left. We keep this shit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So she would beat my ass, and I'm like, man, you better get right, because she might beat your ass, and then she beat your ass, and I try to jump in, she gonna beat my ass. So, but in a way, because obviously, like all things, there could be an extreme to that energy, and like so, if you have like an abusive parent and they have that Capricorn energy, then yes, they can be relentless. They can be, oh my God, they could tear you down, like, or just be very evil. You know what I'm saying? But the more centered ones, like I said, it's just about discipline, and they're real big no nonsense, in terms of how they approach stuff. Like, no. They're big on consequences. The minute you do something, it's up. Like, you gotta get the fuck on. Or I'm gonna punish you in a way. Did you smoke today? Have you yet put something on your stomach? Um, Capricorns are very hardworking. I love that. Like I said, I am biased with my North Node in Capricorn, but I love it because that lets I want that to rub off on me. I love that shit. Like, you know, set your sights, set your goals, and go for that shit. Some people are just talkers, but them Capricorns, they gonna do that shit. You know what I mean? I think about that song, She Works Hard for the Money, so hard for me, honey. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. That is coded. She's a Capricorn too, the lady who sings that song. Rest in peace to Donna Summers. And it's like she made a whole song that was like an ode to the working women, business women, everyday women who get up and bust their asses. You know what I'm saying? Who sometimes even don't really feel like they get the recognition they deserve. That's very Capricorn. Like, I love how hardworking Capricorns are. And like I said, how like I know it can get extreme, and if we talking extremes, they can be very relentless, especially in the workplace, or people who go, they will stab you in the back. They will throw you to the wayside. They will do whatever. They will scheme, will, deal, plot. They will do whatever they got to do to get to where they want. And if you are in the way, and if they perceive you as somebody in their way, then well, you will be collateral damage. That's another thing I see in Natalie Nunn, like her not really being nobody's friend. Anybody could be exploited. Anybody can be leveraged. Anybody can, you know what I'm saying? And she only surrounds herself with people who she feels she's superior to. Unless, like I said, or when she does get around people, other celebrities that have more than her, and people, who are on the higher end of the totem pole. Like I said, that's when she started dick riding. Um, but so it can be extreme, but I will say I like the positive aspect of that, like that ambition, because a healthy level of ambition is needed anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's like on some survival of the fittest type shit. Like, you know, Capricorn forces you to go big or go home, because a lot that's how they operate. Aaliyah's a Capricorn too. However, And I thought that was so interesting because she never really showed up the way that I thought, that was archetypical to that Capricorn energy. But she has her Capricorn energy in her 12th house. And the 12th house is going to water down shit. You know what I'm saying? It could also deal with the people in her family, especially with her mom, because her mom's son is in the 12th house too. And so is R. Kelly, where she got people, older people behind the scenes who are exploiting her for capitalistic gain. And so I feel like she was more so a victim of that kind of Capricorn mentality. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I love their ambition. What else? I like how patient Capricorns are because that ties into like, understanding that things take time. Capricorn deals with time. They can play the long game. And that's also part of, what it takes to be successful sometimes. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Most times. So they're really good at, being patient. They're really good at denying themselves things or being disciplined. So when it comes to stuff like fasting, dieting, obviously I'm not saying every Capricorn is great at it, but I'm saying that, Capricorn is one of those signs that can tend to do better. When it comes to fasting and things like that. Um, so yeah, those are the things I like about Capricorn. But some of the other traits, um, they can be very fake people, you know, or they don't do a really good job of um like letting people see that softer side of who they are, not really letting people in. Of course, that sellout thing. They can be really big liars, specifically when it comes to saving face. Remember, with Capricorns, they also love, like, or, their reputation is a big thing. My mama always told me, your reputation, like, guard it with your life. Like, it's the only thing that you have. Capricorns take reputation very seriously. They can be very hypercritical, very cynical, like I said, mean, authority driven, of course, opportunistic, exploitative, having like sociopathic tendencies, or just, like I said, not really connected to people, taking pleasure in other people's pain, elitists, social climbers, you know, that. So, some other famous Capricorns. Your mom was a Capricorn, Sun, Virgo, rising, said the same to you growing up. Okay. And it's like, because Capricorns have such a polished look with everybody, and like I said, it's because of that reputation. They kind of remind me of Libras in a certain way, of where it's like, and maybe that's why Saturn is exalted in Libra, but it's like where in public they will be very well respected, or they present themselves in a certain way, but they save a lot of like their darker traits for the people that are in their lives, like personally. And like, from that's like I said, I love my mama. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I love my mama boots. I love her down. I would die for that lady. But it was one of those things where, like, my mom was always very polished and prim, and sophisticated and all these things. And she always is sophisticated, but people didn't see like behind closed doors because my mom was a teacher. So she not gonna handle other people's kids the way she handled her kids. You know what I'm saying? Behind closed doors, my mom was like, all right, listen, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Turn the DMX on your ass. You like, damn. But then other people looking at you crazy because they like, well, you know, your mama's so sweet. I love your mama. She's so sweet. I love my mama too, but she ain't that sweet, dog. I love my mama too, but you know what I'm saying? Don't let the smooth taste fool you. It can get wicked. It can get wicked. Ice Spice, yeah, she's very Capricorn coded too. She definitely get mean girl. Like she one of the mean Capricorn girls. She only want to deal with you if it's something in it for her. Did you smoke today? Hey, baby. Sorry, y'all. That's my kitty. Let's see. My favorite Capricorn is R. Kelly. The rest of them, he's your favorite Capricorn. Okay. You said, "Damn, I know you got the silent treatment a lot." My mama is a professional when it comes to that silent treatment. A pro. That's very Capricorn. Girl, like you said, I separate from. You said your favorite Capricorn. My favorite Capricorn. See, it's one thing to say I like their music. When you say that's my favorite Capricorn, I'm assuming you mean like in terms of what they represent. Like that's your favorite. Don't be trying to throw back what I said and hit your argument on the mind now. Cause I ain't gonna say he ain't my favorite Capricorn now. Just like Chris Brown ain't my favorite Taurus. But it's like, okay, I might like some of your stuff, but if I be like such and such is my favorite Capricorn, that's my favorite. I don't know, that's my favorite Virgo. The assumption is you're talking about their traits, the qualities that would make you or make that person your favorite. Like you like his qualities. I was talking music. Like, no, no, no. No, R. Kelly is overly freaked. I would always support the music though. No, but do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think, and maybe that's just how my brain analyzes it, but like, that makes sense. Like, okay, you could support the music, but your favorite Capricorn? Whoa, bridge too far. I think my favorite trait about Capricorns is their dark humor, very underrated sign when it comes to being comedic. I can agree. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Good music, horrible person. There we go. That's like saying Diddy your favorite Scorpio. Yeah, yeah. It's just the way you phrase it that you're assuming you're talking about the qualities that goes into that person being your favorite sign. Hell, I'm giving my mama the silent treatment now. Nuh-uh. You better not be giving mama the silent treatment. That's funny. Yeah, sometimes, my mama still do that now, and I'm grown. I don't really feel like Sagittarius really specializes in dark humor. Now, of course, you could have other things in your chart that could explain it. I'm not saying a Sagittarius can't be capable of having dark humor, but we're talking about as like the sign in and of itself, like archetypically. Sagittarius is more like slapstick comedy to me because it's so exaggerated and over the top. Even when you are dealing with Sagittarius, like that's why some people can take or leave us because it's like, all right, you a little too extra, exaggerating, like, and when I say exaggerating, it don't necessarily have to be like your story. It could be exaggerating your arm movements, your voice. That's why we so animated. Like, I could never just tell a story straight up, like, oh, this girl said, and then that girl said, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very slapstick, over the top. I would definitely say Virgo and Capricorn would be more dry based comedy. You know what I mean? Um, but I can see Capricorn doing like having like a dark sense of humor too, though. But Aquarius is really good at that as well. Even Scorpio, like having like a morbid sense of humor. She tried it. I don't create boundaries for nothing. Dang. Ma ran out then. I'm a Sag moon. I have dark humor, but every Sag I meet, we always laugh the most together. Probably my Aquarius sun making the dark humor though. Yes, that is definitely your Aquarius sun. We good at roasting, telling the story with the, yeah, exactly. Or like I'm that friend. I remember just thinking back to like in school and stuff. Like I be with my friends and somebody would make a joke, I would fall out my chair. Even to this day, if a joke's funny enough, I'm falling on the ground laughing wherever we are. Like it's that serious. Like it's very very serious. How Chris Brown a double swords and he remains so skinny? And somebody said coke. The cookie, he's on a diet of cookie. Sorry, baby. Hey, mommy. That power have him hard and energized. They say he be on the stage flipping back and forth like he Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot. I seen him in Vegas, y'all. Chris didn't take not one break. Yeah. That's that powder. Y'all ain't never grew up with crackheads. I ain't grow up with crackheads in my neighborhood per se, but I definitely done had some crackheads in my family. You know what I'm saying? I go back home, you go back to the hood, you definitely gonna see some crackheads. Like they be very energized. They don't tire easily. I'll tell you that. That's them old school crackheads. Finesse two times is hilarious. He's another one with that. He's a Capricorn North Node too. And I know he be bragging about like pimping out his baby mamas and stuff like that. Or he bragged about how he did pimp out his baby mama, one of his baby mamas at one point. I'm like, all right, bro. He want to be a pimp so bad. Chris Brown on that good speed. I be calling him coke and backflips. Humping that floor like no tomorrow. Finesse two times, having me dying. He a Gemini, so I already know. Something about him irritate me. I ain't gonna lie. That should be in my eighth house, like, and I get so irritated, like, cause he's so loud and short, and he built like a Klondike bar, and he's ugly. He looked like he smelled like booty and corn chips, and he's so ignorant. Like, you so ignorant, and that word on the curb is he be abusing sugar, beating the fuck out her ass. That's what I heard. Allegedly. Who the fuck this little nigga think he is, bro? Like, ooh, the way I won't say. I'd rather not say. He built very badly, and it's like he lost weight, but his body still looked thrown together. You know what I'm saying? Like he was on the clearance rack in heaven. Tokyo Rose, Finesse, and Chris. I loved it. I love every piece of it. Cause when you a bigger girl, people calling you fat, that's low hanging fruit. It's a cheap, easy read. Shut your fat ass up. And people got all these creative ways to call somebody. Shut your fat, big bad ass up. All you do is DoorDash. All you do is DoorDash. And that might be true, but I feel like you're not a real true roaster until you can peel back those layers and really tell a bitch the God honest truth about what they are and how they are. And not have to default to something that's that obvious. Cause you know what I'm saying? Fat people usually know that they fat. So it's like, but Finesse two times don't know that he shaped like melted ice cream. He don't know that. He think he fine. He don't know that he's short and he look like a little gargoyle. He don't know that. He think he fine. He don't know he with weak-minded bitches who only got him for what they think they can get from him. Or maybe because they scared of him. I don't know. He don't know that he would never attract a real woman, like a real quality woman who's secure in herself. He thinks he's a catch. He thinks he's a catch. Weight blindness. How tall is he? I don't know. But he looks petite. He looks very mini size, miniature. Bulldagging auntie. Finesse don't know how to wash his ass. He says this on a song. He said it on a song. That he don't know how to wash his ass. That man shaped like my bulldagging, not bulldagging, Annie. I'm weak. The bulldagging Annie got it. Yeah, finesse two times. I can't get with it. I don't really rock with him. Yeah, finesse two times. But that's just me. Oh my god. But that's just me. You gotta see, and I don't need the only song I know from him was something. It's how it go. It's like something. I came from a bomb mine, the straight out of bowl mine. Something to something. He rap like this. He rap like this. He do the dub. I run the come on some bowl mine. Whatever the fuck he be saying. I'm gonna be real, baby. I don't. I know. I'm not that familiar with that man. Not even gonna hold you. All she want to do is power. Oh, that's the song. That's how I go. I saw a live stream where he was like fucking. I guess it was Suge. Like she was bent over the couch and he was like hitting her from the back. And I just kept thinking like, I wonder what she thinking about in her mind right now. Is she disassociating? Because that would be the only thing that can get me through conking him. My soul would have to leave, my mind would have to leave my body and be traveling on the other side of the universe. Anything so that I would not have to be in that moment present and feel the weight of a sloppily built stud tee leaning on me, groping on. Okay, so you seen that wasn't just me. It felt like a fever dream. I'm like, nah. I remember seeing that one day, like, what the fuck? And I just was like instantly disgusted. Like, you know, and I'm a pretty, I'm no prude. I'm far from a prude, baby. But it's just it was something about that it made my stomach hurt. I have to be hot as pigeon pussy, literally. Like there's no. So she must have been hot too. She was probably on that dope and disassociating while he had her bent over the couch like that. Cause baby, I don't. So maybe that was the perfect position. Cause missionary, fuck no. I don't want to look in your face. I don't want to look in your eyes. Instantly dried up. Happy birthday, Elle. Happy solo return. But Biggie had all them chicks. He was bad built. It's the money. Ugh. Bad built, black and ugly as ever. However, I stay coochie down to the socks. So I don't know, man. And I understand that beauty is subjective. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm straight. I'm cool on all that. Hey, baby boo, you came in right at the end. But yeah, hell no. We were just talking about how finesse 2 times built like a middle aged auntie. I can't believe he only 33. And he looked like his mama had because his mama be doing interviews, y'all. He literally looked like his mama. I'm like, he looked like his mama and act like her too, like a bitch. And all he do is yell on his live streams. And I think, because really people would be laughing at him because he looks like a ridiculous troll. I don't think anybody really takes him serious. But he's a lot of his live streams have been going viral because he's unhinged. So he be yelling in the camera. All you do is door dash. You gotta stop the door dash. Oh, period. Come on, exam. Residential exam. Well, you got it. You have more important shit to do. I don't blame you. And you got it. It's sold up. It is there. It's done. But yeah, so it was just like, who else? Who else is a notable? Happy New Year. Who else is a notable Capricorn? Oh, speaking of Capricorn placements, Candy Burris. So I'm going to I'm gonna do an upload on the synastry between she and Ty, but just know that she definitely lives up to that Capricorn moon thing too. In terms of like not wanting to be embarrassed, the moon is your personal life. So Capricorn moons, they want their personal life closed off, sealed off. But Ty has his Uranus squaring her moon. So it's like he will, you know, take any opportunity he can to get other people in their business, really. And a lot of times he'll do it on social media. That's why he got all them vlogs where he was disrespecting the hell out of her. Talking about something, do you feel like women, do you feel like y'all are past y'all prime? Nigga, do you feel like you past your motherfucking prime? You fucking hobbit bitch. You feel like you passed your motherfucking prime? You fucking gnarled leprechaun? That's another one. That's another little short ass bitch that make me mad. Cause how the fuck you let a Todd Tucker play in your face? The shit that he was saying, he's so red pilled out. Like, and I just found it so hard to believe. Like, Candy girl, blink. Blink twice if you need help. Yeah, so reactive to everything women do. A lot of them, they want to be a lady. Take a Taurus forever to leave. It does. And Capricorns too. So she really got it bad, like on both ends. So I see why the relationship drug out so long for Taurus, because she's a Taurus sun and South Node. So that, and I think Venus as well. So with Taurus, it's like, Tauruses can just be resistant to change. They probably know what they need to do. They don't want to do it, if they get too comfortable, even in dysfunction, as odd as that might sound. But they get really comfortable, and it takes very extreme situations that force them to change their ways, because Taurus is naturally resistant to change. Capricorn could drag a relationship out because, if they feel like they put in too much time, or like I said, those people was like, well, we've been together for this long and we didn't come this far, because a part of them even feel like, they have to work hard to like overcome the challenges and obstacles in the relationship, and that's da da da. And to a certain extent, yes, you can say that, but you know, that Capricorn energy sometimes can take that too far. And like, so they will drag out a relationship they should have been got rid of a long time ago. And they will be long suffering partners. You know what I'm saying? Or so it's just, I think she just had it bad. But I'm like, and Todd is another one. He's a Capricorn North Node. And like I said, like, technically in this lifetime, he is supposed to kind of, you know, untap that kind of, or tap into that energy that makes him, uh, more of a go getter, being successful, being able to, be, whether it be a business owner or being at the top of whatever field he's in. But what they said they been said Ty was an opportunist. That's that Capricorn shit. He's a Capricorn North now. So it's like, oh well, Ty, he's gonna, that's the dark part of that Capricorn energy. That's why I say it's so messed up. But I got that same placement. So I understand. I understand. Not fully. I don't understand how he treated her, but I understand the concept once again of like how people can interpret you as being like an opportunistic. I can understand that part. But him just, him being a dick and annoying, like, yeah. I don't know why I'm shocked, because I kind of felt like Mama Joyce was hard on him a little bit. Because my thing was like, well, he's not broke. It's not like he ain't got no job. You know, he just probably don't get paid as much as she does. I ain't gonna lie, I was wrong. I watched that with a new set of eyes. All right, y'all. Well, we done been on here for a good hot minute. So I wanted to tap in, check in, let you know Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all of my Astro fam. I will be uploading to Patreon a lot more often. I do have some uploads coming to YouTube, so just kind of stay tuned for those. But if you want to see me more frequently, feel free to subscribe to my Patreon. Um, and yeah, I just opened my calendar for the month of January for readings. I'm only doing, I have limited slots. Um, so it's a first come, first serve type of situation, type deal. And I just hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody is doing well. Go live more often. We are neglected. I promise you I will. I won't be gone for too long. Okay. So I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Take care of yourselves. And Happy New Year.